I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you be watching this transmission. Welcome to Commonwealth for Common People. 'Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you a very special undercover edition here. Want to thank everyone that's supporting the channel, being part of the channel. And channel disclaimer, we do not offer investment advice, we do not know anything, and we can't even read. This video should not be viewed by anyone ever. So that's a channel disclaimer there. Also, guys, I want to thank everyone that's been, in the comments the last week or so with a lot of the videos, videos we've been putting up here and there, and a lot of people have been contributing with their comments and points of views on what is happening in their local neck of the woods. Nobody can get a grip or understand what's happening in economic turns. Turns. Yeah, it's turns is what it is. What turn is it now? That's what it is. There's no term. It's a turn. And they're basing a lot of whatchamacallits on it. There's that name for it. Their opinion is being now considered fact. Nothing's being back-checked. I don't even know where things are going to be. Somebody asked me if the market's going to see a correction soon. The only time you'll see a market correction is when interest rates go up 2%. Heck, 1% increase in interest rates, and you'll see a correction. All right, guys, it's 6 p.m. here, Pacific time. Hope everybody across the Commonwealth is doing well. The comments are now rocking and rolling. We're going to go through a quick channel plug, and then we're going to go really quickly to a actual... I got the mic of the night thing up. Sorry, guys. Sometimes, when you're juggling 50 things at a time, it's kind of tough. But I make it to see you guys all the time. All right, guys, here's the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, be part of the channel. We had Florian Heise on Mike in the Night last week. Don't forget to check it out with Peter Leeds the week before on Mike in the Night. Check it out, guys. Lots of good content on this channel. Guys, if you guys want to send me a message on Instagram, please do so. I'm going to give you the link to my Instagram page. There it is right there. Do not send anything on Facebook. Facebook is useless. I don't know. I don't know. I just have a lot of. I even have a lot of trolls on here. Wow. But anyways, there it is. Don't forget to. Who cares? Forget Facebook, man, altogether. Guys, don't forget to pick up something on Teespring. And don't forget to check Art by Dano, artbydano.com. Not your typical art. Tell him Mike Martin sent you. And check it out. He's got a lot of cool stuff here. And he's got to put a new release section here. Dano, put a new release section on your page so we can see what is new and what is... Right here. Put it. You have a space right here. New releases right here. All right, let's move on. And music by Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Oh my god, he's at 391 subs. Let's get him to 400 subscribers, please. Let's get him over the top there, guys. Please, I really appreciate it. We got Gary Medeiros in the house. I'm going to give him a call. I haven't talked to him in a bit. I want to find out what's going on. He lives in Toronto, and a lot of people have been on the sidelines with this fiasco Mickey Mouse housing in Canada. Canada's been years. It's been over 10 years. People have been on the sidelines. After the 2010 Olympics, everybody sold thinking that housing was going to come to a correction because it was too far away from wages, and look what's happened now. It hasn't never gone down. There's never seen a correction since. Ralphie.co. Ralphie represents 24/7 radio. Go here. And don't forget to donate to the cause here. If you can, please. So we got Ricardo in the house. We got David Xavier saying Red Bull gives you COVID. I saw that thing where they were doing a test on they sent in a test, or they didn't send in a test. They had a test that gives you an instant, result, kind of like a pregnancy test. Buddies all wearing gas masks, hazmat suit, all kinds of crap. Pours in some Red Bull, and it came back positive for COVID. So Red Bull gives you COVID. All right, let's go into some of the headlines here, guys. There's all kinds happening in the financial markets. I don't even know where to go with some of this stuff anymore because it's getting so far out of reach to understand what is what. They don't know what is what, but they think they know what is what. They just strut. People messaging me, Mike, is gold in a bear market? Mike, it looks like gold may be in a bear market. And you know what? We may be in a gold bear market right now. And I don't know where the bottom will be in gold, to be honest with you. I don't know where gold is headed right now. It looks like it is definitely in a bear market, and I don't know where it's gold has been one of the heaviest manipulated sectors in the world. One of the most heavy manipulated sectors in the world. And it's good to know where you stand with certain because everybody buys gold when you know what I mean? Everybody buys gold to hedge against inflation, but right now, are we going to see the bottom of gold, right? And everyone is switching to Dogecoin too. That's another one. We got Ricky Ricardo sending me $9.99. Thank you so much, Mr. Ricardo, for sending me $10. My number one fan. Thank you so much, Ricky. God bless you, buddy. Okay, let's go over some Canadian headlines here, and we'll get a Canadian on the show. Bank of Canada tapers quantitative ease by 25%. Rate hikes may come in 2022. D-Daisy, there it is. I don't think they could hold off until 2022. I don't know we gotta follow what's happening in the American bond market before we could figure out if it's, but I think 2022 maybe too little too late. I think it might come earlier. If it's too late, I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye on the bond market and see what's going on there with the treasuries and what's happening with the bonds in America to see if this is going to be 20. I see it maybe end of 2021. I don't see 2022. If it's 2022, it's going to be a lot worse because it's going to go a lot further up before it goes down. U.S. real estate markets see mortgage fraud soar as fast rising prices are a red flag. And then America is in going into Amerifornia territory, guys. We've been saying Amerifornia on here. Other channels are picking it up and coining the term for themselves. Anyone can do whatever they want, but you guys know you heard it here first. Petition for Bank of Canada to consider home prices at Stop QE enters Parliament. So we know what's been happening with Canadian governments buying assets, and that asset sheet. Let's see if the asset sheet's in this here. I'll show you the asset sheet here if it's here. No, it's not. It's not here. I wanted to show you the asset sheet. You're going to laugh your butts off. Let me see if I can find it here. Canadian real estate is moving from pent-up demand to pent-up supply. Canadian real estate inventory appears scarce, but it might be starting to change. Canadian Real Estate Association data shows that new listings grew faster than sales in March. A massive amount of sales are actually being met with even more inventory these days. So let's see if we actually have a chart here versus supply and demand. There it is right there. So there it is. Supply, Canadian real estate, new listings. So there it is. New listings coming on the market, and we're going to start seeing an oversupply really soon. And this is Canadian real estate sales. So these are seasonally adjusted numbers for monthly home sales across the Canadian MLS. So there's the Canadian home sales adjusted to 69,421. So you're seeing a lot of people buying, and is that what's listed? There's the sales trend, and there's adjusted sales. So there it is right there on an uptick, and a lot of people holding these condos or dead stock are going to start looking to unload them right now. If you own a condo, don't take my advice on anything, but I would say to get rid of it right now in Toronto. Canada's 2021 budget will likely have little impact on home prices. How the Canadian government, this is the one I wanted to show you guys. There it is right here. Let's see. Are you ready for this graph? Look at this graph. This is Bank of Canada ownership of government bonds. The dollar value of government Canada bonds in the Bank of Canada has on its balance sheet. Right there. I made a video about this in June or July of last year. And there it is right there. So that is not good if you're living in Canada, and that's not good. Kind of figure out, if you're living in Canada, okay, and you owe a lot of debt, you're in a lot of trouble. As currency devalues, well, you could pay your back debt with the valued currency, but your whatchamacallit there, your income won't go up. That's the problem. So this is what's happening here in Canada. So Buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a real. I hope I'm alive to see this, man, because it's going to be a real bumpy ride. Let's get Gary Medeiros in the house. I want to talk to Gary Medeiros here, my Portuguese friend here from Toronto. Let's give him a call and see what he's up to. Turn on your Skype, Gary. It looks like it's turned off. Gary, you there, buddy?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, bud. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in.
Good. So listen, brother, it's good to have you on. I tried calling you last week. We were talking about housing in Canada, and this is a major deal. A lot of people don't know about what's happening with the Bank of Canada ownership of government bonds. And I don't know if you
Yeah,
can see.
the reason why they're cutting back on that is because if they buy any more, they're going to own more than the government does. And they can't allow that to happen. So that's why they're tapering it down.
Yeah, because look at this. This chart is crazy.
Yeah,
This chart takes off right to the moon.
If you have a lot of debt, you're in big trouble right now. Big trouble.
Yeah, people carrying a debt load, depending on the debt load. I've been hearing through the grapevine a lot of government jobs are on the cutting block right now. Government service jobs, if you're working from home, government service jobs, apparently they're going to be axed. They're going to be axing like 30-40% of jobs.
Yeah, jobs are government jobs are they're in trouble too right now.
They're in a lot of trouble. I heard in backdoor meetings they were talking about anyone basically are going to have a tough time making because the problem is the private sector is funding the public sector, right? And with all the job closures, we had 74,000 businesses closed down after the second wave lockdown in Toronto, in Ontario.
Yes.
And that's a lot of businesses. Like 70, I thought it was a joke. I actually looked in, then I back checked it, and then I phoned a few people. They told me it's close to almost 80,000 businesses, small businesses, completely closed permanently.
Yeah, there's a lot of businesses that won't survive this. There's a ticket. Then the businesses that are just piling on the debt, which is just going to make things worse in the end. Going back, what did you think of the whole Bank of Canada statement today?
They said, I don't know, what did they say today? I'm going to check right here. It should be one of the first articles.
No. Basically, he said that they're gonna raise rates sooner.
Yeah, the first one right here. Bank of Canada tapers quantitative ease by 25%. Rate hikes may come in 2022. They have no choice to raise rates. They have no choice.
Yeah, exactly.
They've left us at a point where now, instead of incrementally raising rates every 3 quarters and do a little bit of an increase, slowly adjusting it, they're going to have to do one big increase, and they don't have a choice. Or we're going to see the great Canadian peso.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think people realize that rates do have to go up, and the fact that the economy is doing so well, supposedly, which is, I think, total BS. But the only thing that's driving up this market this economy is the housing market. It's the only thing that's making money right now. And it's unfortunate because it's the housing market that's driving the economy. Like, think about that for a minute. Last time I checked, it's people like you and me working in the workforce, not houses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much our economy right now is housing. So, it's pretty sad. But you know what? Everybody wanted this to happen. Everyone kept saying, prices are going to go up, prices are going to go up. But what's going to happen to our kids, Mike?
My kids are gonna. What they're gonna do is when they graduate from high school, they'll have a year off, and they're gonna go to an American college and then apply for a work visa in the States while they're doing their college in the States.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, how many people are going to do things like that? Or how many kids are going to do that?
Well, they have no choice. Canada, they can't stay here.
Yeah, my kids, no future in Canada.
Well, my daughter wants to be a nurse. Okay, great. That's great. But you're going to be a nurse in Canada? What are you going to do here? You're going to starve to death. You can't. My kids are losing 3-0 already, and they're only 4 and 6. They're already losing the soccer game 3-0, and they even haven't started playing yet.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It really is, because more people, like I said, people are worried, unfortunately, about the profit on a house than their kids, and it's not. And you know what? Like, their kids' future. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, I made 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 on a house." Yeah, that's great. Don't get me wrong, but last time I checked, when you buy a home, it's to build a life. I mean, equity's fine; it's a bonus, but I don't think it should be the number one reason why someone buys a house.
Well, when they start taxing equity on homes to start paying back all this CERB and the free money everybody got, the homeowners are still going to pay for it in the end because they're still going to be taxed to death on property tax, and they're going to have to pay interest, or they're going to be taxed on the equity of the value of their home.
You're absolutely right. And so that's only a matter of time before it happens.
So here's the problem that we're facing right here. We're going to see the great Canadian peso, and I said this about 3 years ago. I looked up that video the other day. It's 3 years old, that video, and the great Canadian peso was already, because we weren't raising rates even 3 years ago. So we're in a heap of trouble, and people don't know how bad this thing is. A lot of people one morning are going to wake up and come to grips and have a crash course on government spending and housing and all that stuff in one morning when they're having their coffee, and their eyes are going to be glued to the TV and asking, what the F is going on? The bank said this was good. They told us on TV it was a good idea to buy a condo. Then you said housing is the best thing, and if you don't buy, you'll be bought out forever. Now,
Mike, here's the thing. So for example, like everyone's thinking about the short term. No one's seeing the bigger picture here. Now, we have the most, like, our country is in the most in debt when it comes to consumer debt, corporate debt, and now government debt. If the interest rates start going up with this debt not being paid, we are heading into a full-out debt crisis in this country. If not, we're already there. We're probably already there, I'd say, with the debt that not the government wants to build or is building up. Think about it. I mean, if rates go up just one, I don't even think it's going to take a lot. I think 1%, it's over.
It's game over.
It's game over. 1% is all it's going to take. Maybe even less than that. Who knows? People are already on the verge as it is, living paycheck to paycheck, not even having enough to save, right? Everyone's just putting everything on their mortgage or whatever the case may be and taking on these huge mortgages. People aren't even going to be able to retire. Like, people are buying, oh, yeah, I want a big house, so I want this, I want that. People aren't even going to retire with these mortgages. No way.
No. There's too many people now going into retirement with mortgage debt. And that's another major issue, right? So this is becoming it's an unplayable game we're in right now. And if you jump into the game, you're already losing 3-4-0. So what do you do if you're already losing that much? You're a soccer guy. You watch soccer. You watch Portugal sometimes. In soccer, if you're down 2-0, it's game over, right?
Yeah,
it's done. You're done. And that's the situation we're now.
We're so programmed to think that everything's just going to be bailed out that everyone's refusing to see what's really going on. And that's the sad part. Is like, we know this is common sense right now, what's happening, that everything that's happening is not sustainable. The fact that people don't want to admit that, that's their problem. But at the end of the day, I think everyone's just so programmed to think, oh yeah, it's just going to be bailed out, or we're just going to get help or whatever. Think about this. The economy doing well, in my opinion, because of housing is the most part. But if the economy is doing well to some part, the government gave people so much money a month just to stay at home. Like $2,000. Like, for example, if I were to, I never got the CERB. I didn't have to get it. But if I were to on the CERB and my wife was on the CERB, that's $2,000 a person. We'll say that's $4,000 a month. Why would I go to work with $4,000 a month? Think about it. $4,000 a month. That might not even be enough to help people. That'll probably just cover the mortgage, if that. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no one's seeing the bigger picture here, and that's what's sad. We're all programmed to thinking that we're just going to get bailed out, but you know what? It's not the way it works all the time. Like, this has gone so far beyond that I don't even think a bailout's going to happen this time around. I actually think they're just doing things in a certain way to make it seem like they're doing something, and then when everything does hit the fan, we're just going to blame COVID, which is probably what's going to happen.
You know what my favorite is?
COVID is the ultimate excuse for any government, any country, period.
I love it. You know what I love?
It's going to happen. I'm telling you, COVID's going to be the ultimate excuse. Oh, we did all we could. I think they're going to let everything build up to a point where people, for people to think that everything's fine. And then all of a sudden it's just going to disappear. I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We're still, like I said, that's exactly what's going to happen.
My dad would give me a speech like he just told me right now. You know what my dad would say right after he would say his speech?
What?
He would say, "Faz conta que não diz nada."
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'll say right now.
Yeah, just pretend I told you nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
Just pretend I said nothing to you. But it's true what you're saying. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Now, can I tell you what my favorite is?
Go ahead.
America is Amerifornia, soon to be. Amerifornia economy is going to go. America's economy is going to take off because now they're going to start using housing for their economy, and they're going to bring in wealthy investors, and a lot of students and investors and all kinds of people. Now that Joe Biden is the new president-elect, he'll be competing for wealthy investors, and they're going to be bringing. They're going to take a blind eye. Look at all the blue states. Look at all the money laundering in the blue states. That's going to happen right across America. Canada will fall behind, far behind. And if America's housing GDP gets to 25% of where Canada is right now, to 25% of it, not the whole thing, we're going to have the great Canadian peso. We're going to have to raise interest rates here on our side because America now is going to play the Canadian and Australia and the New Zealand and the UK game. They're 5 years behind because of Trump. Now they're going to start playing that game.
Yeah.
Trump was about
Yeah,
manufacturing, exporting, huh?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Trump was about manufacturing, exporting, doing whatever he can, protecting the borders. Now, Amerifornia and Canada is going to become Canada Mexico with our new Canadian peso, and you're going to see if we're going to have to follow suit, and we're going to have to figure something out on our end when we start seeing these yield curves go nuts. You could only do so much control on this. America's going to go both feet into housing. America's going to go right across the fire. Fire as in real estate, insurance, appraisals, all that garbage. That's going to be primary in America going forward. And Canada is dead. Canada was keeping up with America because we were only, very heavy on housing, very straightforward on housing. Housing was everything for Canada. Now, with America, and now with foreign students choosing America because of the new presidents, and now with real estate, there's people in Alabama and in Florida printing out brochures in Mandarin to bring in investors, billions of dollars in. Now, let me say something real quick, and then I'll let you talk.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember last week's show where I was talking. America was crying. Do you know why they were crying? A lot of Americans were crying, and it was written in 2 articles I found it in, because Chinese, it says in it, Chinese in the words, investors came to America in 2020 and bought $11.1 million in real estate in America. 11.1 billion. Okay, Gary? 11.1 billion in 2020 was brought in to America, and it's been displacing people out of their homes, and housing prices have been going up. Now, hear me out, okay, Gary? You want to hear my favorite part?
Go ahead.
Canada. Canada is not even saying anything, and they got $46 billion in 2020 dumped into our housing market, and that's why housing never went down in 2020, because of the people from Hong Kong. $46 billion brought into Canada. Canada doesn't cry about it. America cries over $11 billion in their housing market, and they're displacing people, and Americans are out of reach. I read the article last week. And Canada, $46 billion, not a single peep out of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. The states are. It's interesting too because I've been hearing economists talk in the states now about how they're officially saying that their housing is in a bubble, and they're nowhere near our prices yet.
Nowhere near, not even 10%.
So listen to this: if they're in a bubble, what the hell are we in?
We're on planet Voltron or something. We're not. This Canada's gone. Canada. The idea of Canada was a good idea to unify the provinces with the train, so we have both. We have both oceans to import, export, right? It's a great idea. We got a long border with America. We have good trade partner. We have all this, But now, Canada's not a good idea anymore. What do you think, Gary? Honestly.
I don't know anymore. I mean, the fact that our kids have no future here is really concerning, and the fact that so many people are okay with it just because their houses are making money. I mean, what's okay with that being okay for people is not okay with me. Like I just don't get it. People are putting profit in front of the future. Like think about this for a minute. Schools have been shut down, at least in Ontario anyway. They had a strike, and now with COVID, 2 years of schooling is gone. How are these kids gonna make up this schooling back, this education back? Like it's not gonna happen. Like their future's already compromised as it is. And you know what I mean? Like it's no one's thinking about that. Like everyone's thinking about, oh, I made the 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 at my house. Good for you. But you know what? It's the kids growing up now will have no money to buy a house. And the only money they have forward to, unfortunately, is going to be when, for example, I pass away or something, and they get an inheritance of some sort, because that's the only money they're going to be able to get.
Okay, here's the article here. Ready, Gary? I'm going to read out the headline. Hong Kong residents transfer billions to Canada as China clamps down. So in the year of 2020, capital flows out of Hong Kong, banks reaching Canada rose to their highest levels on record last year, 2020, with about 43.6 billion. I'm sorry, Gary, I thought it was 46 billion. 43.6 billion in electronic funds transfers recorded by FinTrack. Canada's anti-money laundering agency receives reports on transfers above $10,000. So this is a fraction. 46 billion, 40, I keep saying 46, $43 billion is actually a fraction of what they've caught, right? And America's crying for $11 billion. I can't believe it. I can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're saying they're already in a bubble, that they're in so much trouble. And yet, if they're in so much trouble and we're way past them, what the hell are we in?
And what the hell is Australia and New Zealand in, too?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't get it. But hey, to each their own, I guess. What can I say? All I know is Canada is in a big load of trouble, man. And I don't care. People don't want to admit it because, and maybe some of them have recently made purchases or bought a house or whatever the case may be. Good for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great that home ownership is great. And, I'm not going to deny that. But, a lot of people who bought homes are just, I don't know, man. Like I said, I just think everybody's programmed to think a certain way. And they just think that, hey, the government's going to just bail everybody out.
Well,
and I think that's why people think the way they think. I just think they think the government's going to be there to save you.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see if I can find that capital outflow into America, where the Americans are crying over $11 billion in 2020. I want to bring up that article so I could let people know. I think it was 11.6 billion. I'm going to find it here. Let me see if I could find it here. Transfer billions. Just trying to see if I could find that from last week, because this capital flow is important, and Americans need to really, really take note on what's happening here in Canada, because Amerifornia, I'm telling you, Americans have no idea what's going to happen to their local population. Everybody's fighting over this and that and the color of this and what bathroom they're allowed to use. Nobody's fighting over fentanyl, opioid crisis that's wiping out young the youth on the streets, the homeless crisis. Do you remember our last election here in Canada? We had our what do you call it? That debate, the election debate here in Canada, Gary. It was a joke. They never talked about housing. They never talked about affordability. They never talked about our corrupt banking. They never talked about our homeless. They never talked about our fentanyl and opioid crisis. More people died of fentanyl and opioid overdoses and drug overdoses than I think COVID deaths in Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know in BC they're getting a record 800 to 1,200 opioid fentanyl overdoses on the streets of Vancouver, just Vancouver, a month.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening, man. U.S. real estate markets see mortgage fraud soar as fast rising prices are a red flag. So the average median house, Gary, in America went up to $233,000. These people are so screwed.
I know, it's crazy.
$233,000, they're dead.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
$233,000 isn't even a down payment in Canada.
I know. Tell me about it. You need double that just to make a knock on any mortgage right now. I don't even think $200,000 is enough anymore to put down on a house.
No.
It won't get you anywhere.
No.
You need at least double that, maybe even half, maybe even $500,000 to make any dent on a mortgage nowadays.
Mm-hmm. I had a gentleman email me a few days ago, and I was talking about it on Morning Coffee with Mike, where he says if he worked 5 years, he makes like about $80,000-$90,000 a year. If he worked 5 years tax-free on his salary, tax-free, 5 years, he still wouldn't make a dent in his economic problem he's in.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I asked him, what's your economic problem? He's like, I own a house. I bought a house 2 years ago. It did go up, but I've been using my credit cards to eat, and I don't make enough money to cover my spread. His mortgage is $4,300 a month. He doesn't make enough money to eat.
Yeah. And do you know how much that's happening in Canada that nobody wants to talk about either?
Well, you can't talk about this.
It's crazy,
in Canada.
Mike. I mean, like I said, they're making everything seem like everything's so rosy when it's not. Nobody has any idea how much crap we're in and how much people are suffering right now, and they don't want to report or whatever the case would be. I'm not sure why, but
Hmm.
I mean, they're just lying to us every day. I don't get it, and everybody's okay with it, thinking that everything is fine, and that's the scary part.
Hmm. Okay, here, guys, I found it here. I found the article. It's actually coming from the White House. The Office of the United States Trade Representative Executive Officer to the President, here from Hong Kong Trade. This is actually from the United States President Office of the Trade Sector. So here it is. $11.6 billion in American real estate here, and it goes into the trade balance and investments of foreign Hong Kong investors in the United States. So this is actually coming from the trade representative of the Executive Office of the President. So that's what they're saying there. And Americans are freaking out over this, Gary.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, they are.
So how could we? Oh! Did you see that? I don't know if you saw my morning coffee with Mike. 400 square foot, sorry, 900 square foot condo in Vancouver, 1 bedroom, $4,500 a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, someone's asking me what is
I
going
don't know.
on with
Like I said,
Nova's.
I don't really know what to say anymore, except that I think people are blind. They don't want to see what's really going on, and that's the bottom line.
Do you think there's got to be some sort of? It just doesn't make any sense, Gary. You know when we were kids, Gary, when somebody would move into a condo, they got some, they hit some hard times. They weren't even called condos back then; they were called apartments. Oh, buddy's divorcing his wife. He's moving into an apartment, and everybody would be like, oh, "He's moving into an apartment? Yeah, he's going through a real tough time." Wow, he's going to an
Right.
apartment. Now you could be a doctor. You could make $100,000 a year. You still can't buy an apartment anymore.
No, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing. You can't.
But yeah, and it says here,
Yeah, like I
Canada's.
said.
Listen to this, Gary. Hold on. I want to say something here. You're gonna like this one.
Yeah,
Canada's
go on.
annual pace of inflation jumps 2.2% in March. How the
Yeah,
hell
there you
is
go.
that possible when the house goes
Yeah.
up 40% of the average wage earners increase in 1 month?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, that alone should be getting people freaked out right now. Like I don't know. Like I said, I mean, the fact if we're doing this good, they're gonna raise rates even this year. You're gonna see the end of this year. They
They have
raise the
to.
rates not one. Yeah, if they raise rates this year and even next year, it's game over. It's done. So many people on the brink. It's not even funny.
If America starts picking up, because most of America's open, the only states that are closed are the blue states are still closed, like New York, Michigan, like those states are closed, but all the other states are open and they're open for business. So Texas opened March 3rd, and there's nothing. Florida's always been open, so there's a lot of states that are open, and I think their economy. Hopefully, they could get it back on track. I know they use this whole BS thing.
I hope it gets on fire. To be honest, I hope they get on fire because then it's gonna force Canada to do what they have to do.
Yeah,
Because if their economy's on fire, we're gonna have to step up. So they'll have to raise rates. They'll have no choice. So it's all gonna be on the American economy. So if the American economy is already doing pretty good. So if it keeps going up the way it is too, I mean, that's why the Bank of Canada guy said what he said today because
of
he's already
course.
noticing the states is already improving a lot. So that's why he had to turn his thing, or he had to turn his explanation around because think about it, he's been telling everybody that they're not going to raise rates till 2023, and then all of a sudden he says that the rates are going to go up sooner. Do you have any idea how freaked out people are after he said that? Like I've been talking to people all day about this. He's freaked out so many investors, so many people just by that alone, or even people like you and me, because or people at least in trouble with debt because you know what, they raise the rates, man. It's done. These people are finished.
The problem is in Canada, you can't go bankrupt on a house like you do in the States. It's a little bit different in Canada, and it's a lot of paperwork, and it's a lot of time in Canada. So that's a big issue. In the States, you could mail your keys in. They call it jingle mail. You mail in your keys, they take your house, you walk away, you reset your credit, in 7 years, you're good again. But in countries like Australia, New Zealand, even in the UK, you can't walk away from a mortgage. It's very
No, I
hard,
know.
Gary.
No, I know. I realize that.
Very hard.
Here, I don't know. Here is a whole different story, but there's gonna be if, like I said, I personally think they're gonna raise rates sooner as well. I don't know if they're gonna do it this year. Maybe for sure next year. This year, I mean, it could happen depending. It all depends on the states. I think it depends a lot on the states. If the states' economy keeps more and more fire going, then yeah, they're gonna have to. The Bank of Canada's gonna have to act. They'll have no choice.
Oh,
I
we'll see the
mean,
Great
like I said,
Canadian.
I don't get how during a pandemic that the market's doing so well. Not just that, the stock market in the States is doing really good. Our dollar apparently is up really good, but I think our dollar is only doing good because the American dollar is not doing so good. So I don't know. Like I said, it's an interesting situation. Like I said, all we can do is watch and see what happens. But I just think a lot of people don't want to admit what's going on, and I get that. I understand why, but pretty soon people are gonna have to accept the inevitable. So
All right, Gary. There's one thing I wanted to add. So, like, I want to say thank you to Hugo Gaspar for sending me $10 Canadian. Thank you so much, Hugo. Big hug to you, my friend. Okay, so I got this really bad feeling about something, Gary, and I want to share it with you. Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
What if Canadians start falling off the housing ladder? Can't afford their payments. They start foreclosures, and then properties start being auctioned, and foreign investors buy up all the homes being auctioned.
Mike, it's gonna say that's the beginning part of that's already happening. People are already starting to lose their homes. They're just not
Yeah, but
showing.
if the banks go to auction with the homes, the Canadians still can't buy in because they can't compete. Dude, they bring in 54 or $42 billion in 1 year in money that wasn't made in our country. We're in trouble, Gary. We cannot keep up with these people.
I agree. I agree. I agree. We're like I said, the Canada's catered to foreign people before their own, and it's before Canadian proper, and that should be infuriating to people right now, in my opinion. The fact that that Canada's catered to foreigners rather than the Canadian proper. So you know what? I don't know. Like I said, that alone pisses me off like crazy, but like apparently everybody's okay with it. So
Okay. All right, Gary, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you
all right.
coming on and giving us your input. I appreciate it. Thank
Well,
you so much,
thanks
brother.
for having thanks for having me. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
That is Gary Medeiros out of Toronto, and he's giving us an update on what is going on. I have Kia is asking, Mike, what's going on with Nova Scotia foreign buyers rules? So I'm looking it up right now. We're looking at limit travel. What's happening with PEI? Fears of international student intake will keep falling. Countries are responding to mass shooting. I can't find anything here on Nova Scotia foreign buyer rules. I'm not getting nothing here, bud. I could show you. I'm seeing here I'm seeing articles from 2016, but there's nothing here, Kia. I think Kia needs to just call in to the show and tell us what he's talking about because I can't find it here, which is fine. Nothing coming up here. I'm not finding anything. So if you want to leave the link in the thing in the comments or send me the link somewhere, I will look. I'm not seeing anything about foreign investors in Nova Scotia, but it wouldn't surprise me if they blocked or created a crazy foreign buyers tax. But so where is it here? Canada's annual pace of inflation jumps 2.2% in March. Bidding wars, record prices, viewing lineups, Halifax's housing market heats up. So right now in Halifax, after losing multiple bidding wars, a couple offered $50,000 over the list price house. Guys, if anyone watching this, that's not from Canada, knows where Halifax lives, this is the last place in Canada you would think you'd see a bidding war, in Halifax. But it's happening. 28-year-old eventually paid $308,000 for a semi-detached in Halifax. In this Spryfield neighborhood, almost 20% above $259 asking price. So there it is. Halifax is on fire for its housing market. And we're going to take a look here in a few seconds. We're going to look at the top 20 U.S. housing markets here on the show in a few seconds. I want to get Jacob on, two-time world champ, and see what he's got going on. He's always watching the show.
Mike.
Yo, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So have you been watching what's happening in this crazy housing market?
I have, yes. And I believe you and your friend are very, very much apprised of the situation, really. right? I try and have these conversations with people out in the world, even though you're not supposed to talk to each other. People are awake,
Yeah.
right? People are not having it. Now we're looking at where I was working right now. I can't go into too much detail, but essentially people are initiating their business continuity plans in some of these larger corporations. That is essentially like their war chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine that large-scale companies will not be investing their money in the coming future. If they're opening up their hoard chests, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in the security industry, we're talking about automation and continuity plans. That's what's the trending there in that market.
So unpack that for us. Tell the people listening what that means.
So if your company that you own has stockholders,
right,
of course they're going to want to see contingency plans. Insurance providers also, because you have to have insurance for your large companies. So specialty firms, predominantly security firms, will have initiate and design and build continuity plans for them. Who takes care of your warehouse if you go out of business for 9 months, but you're still technically the owner? This type of thing, right? Because a lot of factories and stuff have like a hibernation cycle, essentially. And if they're opening up their war chest and going into a hibernation cycle, that means I think our shutdowns, our lockdowns, whether they're voluntary or not, are going to be here for a long time. We're not going back to work.
The problem is, Jacob, with this whole thing that's going on, they're making this stuff up as they go along. They're just making this stuff 100%.
Up. 100%. Because we are so far, like you said, in the stratosphere when it comes to the level of the inflated assets that we hold here in Canada. We can't even see the ground anymore. So I feel that Canada has followed the United States into the dark hole of debt. You know what I mean? Because we were pretty conservative through most of, compared to the Americans. They're $20+ trillion, 30 I think, in debt.
Well, but here's the thing about America. America's turning the tide. I think America's going to follow Canada into the housing bidding wars, and we're going to see Amerifornia. All of America will become California.
Yeah, and where I am now, for sale signs are springing up all over the place because people, I think they start to smell blood in the market. It's overheated already, right? When it overheats, it's already running out of control on itself.
There's a lot of people fleeing from the red states. From the blue states. A lot of them are actually fleeing. I talked to a guy, emailed me the other day. He's like, Mike, I'm moving to Florida tomorrow from New York. We're going into a massive lockdown again. I'm going to Florida. There's nothing happening there. I'm on my way. I'm moving to Florida.
Right. I mean, I've heard this also from other Canadians because Florida's 30% Canadian anyways. I think more. Right?
A lot of people don't know since 1974 that 31 million Canadians live in America since 1974.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. And if you're a Canadian that grew up near the belt here, near the border, you have relatives across the border. That's just how, because we've been neighbors for 200 years.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to see is we're getting the brain drain is happening now. So I'm seeing all these IT experts and consultants. They're all moving to Costa Rica and places like this. It's already happening quietly.
Oh yeah,
we're getting. I've seen
before
we're emptied out all the office towers, right? They're all empty now.
Oh, the office towers are emptying out. But I have an article up here. Hold on, now that I got you here. Hold on. In Australia, listen to this. Let me find the article here. In Australia, and it just talks about exactly what you just said. But it's happening in Australia, and I'm going to find it right now.
Yeah, my cousin Gabe lives out there, and maybe he watches. He doesn't have the internet all the time because he's 1,000 miles out into the bush out there in Australia, and he loves it.
Okay, this is from the Sydney Morning Herald. Vacant CBD offices could be used for housing in New South Wales, chief economist says. So they're going to start these abandoned offices all over the downtown CBD, the downtown Sydney area. They're actually just going to go ahead and just make them into more real estate. Because you have 80,000 empty condos already by foreign investors in Australia already, in Sydney already. You might as well make a bunch more and leave them empty. At least then somebody will hold them until the prices go up. And then I don't know what they're going to plan on doing with them, but they're going to use offices for housing, but not affordable housing.
No, of course not.
No.
Because think of the construction cost and the location, right? These commercial buildings were $30 a square foot 20 years ago, just to lease it, right? So they of course they wouldn't make them cheap, and they'll make them probably upper middle class elaborate palaces, which they already are essentially. But nobody needs to work, and they're huge amounts of the private sector are now totally private, where they're elusive and anonymous, and at home they don't have an office to answer to, and their boss would be an email address. It's made the entire corporate world a lot more shady, and it's happened very, very quickly.
You know, I got some good news for money launderers in Canada, because money laundering's been a major issue, and a lot of people are actually turning up the heat in it in Canada.
Totally unchecked.
And
totally
you know what else? The government of Canada is giving money launderers 5 years to clean up their books.
5 years? How would you get by?
Well, that's what they said in an article.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah, 5 years. So they're looking at five. They're going to give them.
Asia, right?
It even says in the article, "Good news if you're money laundering, you got 5 years." Okay, I'll even bring it up right now. Consider home prices. I'm going to find it right now. Canadian real estate moving from demand. Nope. Budget will likely have little impact on home price. I think this is the one here. Good news if here it is. Here it is. Great news. Are you ready? I'm going to put it on full screen here.
Yep.
Okay. Great news if you've been money laundering in Canada. You have 4 years. I thought it was 5 to clean up your holdings. So
4 years.
Yeah.
It's nearly 1,100 days. I don't know if you could get that together. You know, that's a big project to become legal.
Well, I think what they'll do is they'll just transfer their asset or money value or dollar value via digital currency out of the country if they have to.
See, the issue I have with digital currency is they could freeze it and collapse it and abscond all your wealth, and you couldn't even write them an email. You couldn't even write Bitcoin and tell them that you were upset, because they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we went in a different direction. Sorry, it's worthless now." And there was nothing that you could do. At least your domestic currency, you could build signs and protest and complain, right? After they seized everything from you. So I'm a little nervous of a digital currency, and if it had like all.
I'm talking about people unloading their laundered money via digital currency.
Via digital currency, that's right, and it makes it anonymous now, but I know it won't be a free ride forever. There's going to be a point in time where they're going to seize it and shut it down. As our currencies collapse, right? But the Canadian currency, I think, is already done. The peso, you're 100% on par with that.
It's the Great Canadian Peso. But the problem with the Great Canadian Peso is they're actually going to have to add zeros on our currency, because if I don't know if you remember the article in March.
It'll be the Canadian yen is what will happen.
Oh, you want to make Canada Japan again?
Well, Japan dipped in the 90s and they never recovered. Right.
Well, that's what happens when you start printing money. We're looking at Japanification. Make Canada Japan again. Japanification. But
you know what they do is they sit on foreign treasuries, so they have lots of money saved up. But they're a domestic market and everything. Everybody's 50 years old. They're a house there in the 90s was $1 million. Now it's $150,000, and they'll sell it to a foreigner. They don't care. It's empty. Especially Tokyo. I was there a couple of years ago. It was insanely clean, wonderful people, but it was a ghost town. And returned to Toronto in 2018. It was a ghost town then. And I'm out here in the outskirts of the GTA, and it's jumping here. You'd never know there was a pandemic at all, except people are wearing masks in the stores. So I noticed the core of the GTA is being emptied out. It's already empty.
I hear you. I totally hear you on this one, Jacob. So this is the mass exodus we've been talking about on this channel for the last 5 years.
Right. And you had done this. When did you move out of the city? It would be 4 or 5 years ago, right?
5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So you saw it coming, of course.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen. When I go to see a house, and the house is like $1.4 million, and I'm like, I don't know, should I buy this thing? Then I go check it a week later with my wife, and it's sold for $1.8 million. And this was this was 5 years ago.
That's right. And even leasing commercial property, you always get to the point where it's not worth it. You go to a nice quiet place, have a converted residential into a commercial. There you go. You're jumping.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're on cloud nine. But dude, like I got out of this city. I'm in a small town. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm here. I made the right choice. That's nice.
Yeah, I believe you,
Uh,
and I recommend my father the same when he retired.
mhm.
He did exactly that.
Now,
But I think it's too late now, though, because he said, their houses are sold before they're built where he lives, and that's another hour out of the city from here.
yeah. Now the problem where I am is now everybody on my block except one house that's for sale has moved here from Vancouver,
Right? Of course they did.
and
Maybe they moved even sooner than you did.
no, I was the first one on the block from Vancouver.
Really? Really? So okay. Makes sense though. It makes sense. It's such a shame because Vancouver is such a nice place.
Well, it's not that we can't afford to live there; is that we're not going to work and enslave our lives just to live a basic life.
I know it. I wouldn't. I turned down. I spent 6 months looking for a decent place in Toronto, and before I gave up, forget it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
And
you're not
even-
going to live.
It was dead then. Nobody works in the core. The service industry is all gone, right? But I think in the long run, this is going to be healthy because it has to be done by design. There's no way they would run us off a cliff if it was really going to affect everything. I think there's going to be. They talk about some kind of great reset or whatever, but I don't think it's going to be what we had, what they told us in the brochure. If you said,
With the
they'll
latest
write
ink-
off our
with-
debts. I think that's what they'll try and do is write off our debts, but it'll cost us our soul, of course, right?
Because right now we are approaching record numbers for public sector workers.
Huge.
Yeah.
The Ontario
So when Canada
government
says,
alone.
"Oh, we're creating more jobs," it's all public sector. It's not even private, and that's the problem with Canada right now. So they're going to be axing a lot of government jobs.
Well, they can't afford to pay their pensions.
Yeah.
That's a big secret that they don't want to talk about. Is police pensions. No wonder they want to quote unquote defund the police. It's because they spent all their pension money.
Yeah.
There's no money for them to retire. Imagine. Dedicate your life to a service.
So what do you think of this article I brought up earlier? We were debating between $11.6 billion was brought into the American housing market in 2020, and it's
That's
left
right, that's right.
Americans, poor, and a lot of Americans out of reach from their own housing in their own cities in America. And then Canada, $42 billion was brought in 2020 into our housing markets. Not a single peep.
Well, I was going to say, was $11 billion put into a single state in the United States?
No,
or all of
across
the United
America, just different parts. Oregon,
Okay.
Wyoming. I was looking; it was all over. Kentucky and Florida. Yeah.
So just Texas alone is larger than the Canadian proper, or our economy, our infrastructure, our hospitals, everything. Just Texas alone.
Texas has
Right.
more cities than Canada and Australia put together.
100%. And us absorbing this kind of money would only just make the balloon that we're sitting on bigger and bigger.
That's
I'm
why
actually
housing
glad
went
that I
up
don't own any
$44,000
property.
last month.
Right. I don't own any. When I lived abroad and traveled and saw how ownership rights work in other countries, when I came back to Canada, I decided there's no way I buy a house here. You have no property rights. They could just take it, even if you paid it in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting that they were so eager to have so many foreigners. They're going to rob them, I think. Eventually, something's going to happen in real estate. The trapdoor will fall out and they'll seize everyone's wealth. Or there's a reason why they pile in everybody's money into houses, right? There's nowhere else to put it. I don't know. But if you put it all in one spot, it's because you're going to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about if you're robbing a bank, right? You're going to put it all in one duffel bag and make a run for it. I think that's what they're going to do with housing.
Yeah, well,
I
was
was
looking
looking
at
inflation. We're talking about inflation, right? The Americans have never had more than 2% since the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is like gentle inflation. In places like Somalia, they'd have like 4,000% inflation in 1 year. Iran, for example, right? So imagine, I don't think we're prepared over here for any serious level of inflation.
No, we're
But
not.
it just keeps
We're
throwing
gonna
the
have to
money
add
in
a
there.
pile
You're
of
gonna have to,
zeros.
right?
Well, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna have to add zeros to the currency. They're gonna have to add 1 zero to. So $1 will be 10, and then like 100,000 will be a million. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna
Exactly.
have to add a zero to each. $5 bill will be 50. $50 bill will be 500.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have a first world economy after that.
Yeah,
And I
we're gonna have.
suspect what's
You see,
happened is
Mexico
we've
did
been
the opposite
replaced.
in the 80s, in the 1980s, like 81, 82. What Mexico did to reinflate or revigorate or resuscitate their economy, they actually removed 1 0 off each bill
Right, right.
and raised interest rates on top of that.
Well, Mexico has replaced us as America's #1 trading partner, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that is, they'll hold on to that forever.
Well, but the problem with
They have
Canada is we're not
cheaper
producing
farming and
anything.
yeah, exactly. They have cheaper farming and cheaper manufacturing. So of course, they're going to be our best buddy. We're going to have to either change or decline. And I suspect we'll decline because the people that run our country would not be willing to appear weak because they have some kind of rocket envy of the United States for some reason, which is not an appropriate way to treat the Americans. They treat us way better than we treat them, if you ask me.
I was talking to an economist today, a Canadian guy that works with Canadian economists, and he writes a lot of what do you call those things for when university when you're doing like you have to write a
case study.
Yeah, he does a lot of those, and he told me basically that he was looking at square footage and price per square foot and the cost of average wage, like the whole 9 yards. He watches my channel and takes some points on what I'm talking about and looks into them actually. And he said to me, he actually emailed me, and he called me on Skype after, and he told me that Canada, like in Vancouver, within 300-mile radius from Vancouver, and Toronto within a 260-mile radius from the city of Toronto and Vancouver, within a couple of 100 miles out, they need to see a 71% correction in the housing markets. If Canada starts tying wages to real estate like it's supposed to be. Jobs, this pandemic comes, everybody loses their jobs, everyone should lose their homes, and everybody resets. But that never happened. We brought in $41 billion from Hong Kong, and housing goes up $43,000 in 1 month in Toronto. We're screwed.
Well, I want you to consider what a 71% correction would be in dollars collectively. We're talking about, a $1 trillion hit to a $2 trillion economy, right? We'll be devastated.
71% will be more than the trillion, I think, in my opinion.
It probably is.
Probably like 2.2 trillion.
It's not my field of expertise.
2.2 trillion.
I'm just guessing. Exactly. I know our economy is about $2 trillion, right? Somewhere in that area. So that hit, that's going to be half of what we're worth or more. We'll be the new Mexico, probably worse, right? So Canada's going to have to reinvent what it means to be a Canadian. Essentially, is coming. I believe that because we won't be able to afford to hold it together. We're just a little country, really.
Realistically, with our population and with the mass migration of people leaving Canada, apparently, listen to this. I can't say his name because I promised him allegiance that I wouldn't say anything, and he'll be giving me information. He's saying that more people are actually leaving Canada. Okay, like brain drain with doctors.
I just told you there's a whole tech
hold on.
city booming.
Hold on. Everyone's leaving, but there's more people actually leaving Canada en masse than are coming in, and that's why they closed the borders with the U.S. And they probably want to reopen borders with the U.S. probably in 2023, 2024 is when they'll reopen the borders. That's what I've been hearing.
Right. Think about it, because they don't want the brain drain to happen, essentially. I know if we tried to go to the border in the States, it wouldn't be the Americans that stopped us. It would be the Canadian government.
Canadian side will stop you from going to America. That's correct.
They wouldn't. Yeah, exactly, right? They wouldn't let you leave. If you made it to the Americans, they wouldn't care, right? Americans have always been treated us very well, right? This is something that we need to get over. And maybe you don't have that chest bumping out here, out in BC and Alberta, with the Americans that they have in Ontario. For some reason, they have a not positive relationship, I found. I think it's because we competed with Michigan and everybody when we were making cars. Those factories are long gone, of course.
Of course, yeah.
The one here, they're going to make electric cars here. I don't know who's going to buy them. You have $80,000 for an electric hatchback? It's never going to happen.
Let me throw something out there. So, remember before this whole COVID thing, and I was reporting on this census that never gets out there, how more and more people are moving back to Europe before
Yes.
COVID in 2019, more and more people, like we're talking 6 to
Specifically
12,000. 6 to
Yes.
12,000 people a month were selling their homes or property or assets in Canada and moving back to Europe. And
That's right. That's right.
and boom, COVID hits. Nobody could travel, and that's a lot of people leaving the country, and
That's
that was a
right.
major issue because a lot of people say, well, I'd rather be poor and die in my own country and be happy with my family than die here in cold in Canada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd work with Germans, and they were moving back to Germany because all of their parents were all the same age, and they were all in their 70s and 80s, retiring. They had to go back and take over for them, essentially.
Right.
Right. So they were having like their baby boom retirement hit them a little bit sooner than it hit us, I think. So they're all back there now, and they're in their 50s and 60s handling their parents' affairs.
Yeah.
And that was their generation, their brain drain that left, and they were going back when they were getting close to retirement or whatever.
Yeah,
Germany
and
has all kinds of
that was
problems,
huge in
demographic
Canada. Yeah, we were losing a lot of, and now listen to this: Portugal, Spain, Greece, Ireland. What's the other country there Latvia? There's like
They're trying to double the populations of these countries.
well, there's 21 countries right now in Europe that are allowing people to take citizenship up to the great grandparents.
Really?
So if you have a great grandparent in a specific country in Europe, you're allowed to take on dual citizen now, and that country will allow you to take it. There's like 20 countries now, 21 countries. Portugal's doing it, Spain's doing it, Greece is doing it, Ireland's doing it. I'm just trying to think
In the dying days of the Roman Empire, they were handing out citizenship, including to the oxen and cattle, and that was the joke because the Roman citizenship used to be your keys to the city. Right, and at the end, they were giving it to horses and oxen. The end of the Roman Empire. See a little similarity there? That was like their crest, their seal was to be a citizen. Now they'll give it to anything, right? They're giving it to animals.
Interesting. But
Right?
that's what they're doing. A lot of European nations are giving people.
We're there again because Europe's a museum, and they had this mobile neo-European empire that just moves from Brussels and like southern France back and forth, and has their European parliament, and they're making rules for people that don't even speak the same language as them. So when do you think that how long that's going to last, really? And then not to mention there's 750,000 Russians massing up against Ukraine, but no one wants to talk about that either, right?
We got to talk about that on Mike in the Night. Can you come on the show?
Oh, absolutely, Mike. I wouldn't miss it.
I want to talk about that on Mike in the Night. It's one topic. Lenny Pooh is saying in the comments, Ireland offered that to me, and Hugo is saying Malta. So there's a lot of countries offering that kind of stuff, like the extension.
The brain drain, Canadian brain drain, is happening right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're talking about specifically Portuguese, right? In Southern Ontario here. There was in the 90s and early 2000s, there was hundreds of Portuguese contracting companies. They probably built every third house that I can see out my backyard right now, and they mysteriously disappeared.
They
and I never
deported
thought
them.
about it. I was just gonna say I never thought about it until I started talking to you and talking on your show. I was like, they rounded them up and shipped them off back home.
They did. 47,000 families in 2007.
Exactly, and that's exactly around the time this happened. I was like, I can't believe it. They brought them in here to build their houses, promised them everything, and then they kicked them out.
Yep.
47,000 people. And
that was in 2007 noticed, right? Only. It started in 95 when I was in high school. In 94, 95, when I started high school, they started bringing us down to the gymnasium if we spoke Portuguese, and they rounded us up. And if we didn't have paperwork, they'd kick us out. They put us on a plane that day with no changing clothes or anything.
See, it sounds like human trafficking to me. Just saying. If that was a government, say, guilty of human trafficking, what would that say about everybody else who's been charged with it?
Yeah.
That's a very heavy word that came out recently, was human trafficking, if you noticed. And it sounds like to me that most of the developed world is very, very guilty in it in one way or another. So I feel that also change how things are moving forward. I foresee that our Canadian government here will contract significantly because we just can't afford to pay this giant beast that we built. We built to compete with our Americans, which is silly. Again,
they need to retract their apparently they're gonna be shutting down more hospitals in Canada. They've laid off
for sure.
They laid off tons of nurses, right? in the last 6 months. Remember, we're covering articles, 3,200 more nurses laid off, 2,200 health professionals in Canada laid off. Right during COVID, right through COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely they would. Give them their walking papers, a nice big buyout, enough to keep them quiet, and send them on their way.
A lot of them are moving to Florida and
they should.
Orleans, New Orleans, fantastic. And other places. I got an email from Justina that left. She was working as a nurse in Whitehorse. Okay,
right.
And she was given her walking papers, and now she was headhunted. Like 2 days after she got let go. She made it a few overseas phone calls, and she was telling that in New Orleans they're actually hiring nurses in one of the hospitals there, and she just called. They offered her an interview, and she took off. She never came back.
Can you blame her? And they're like, you know what? We'll be happy to have you. I'll buy you a ticket.
Yep.
And this happened to me many times working in private security. Mm-hmm. They're like, listen, no, I need you to come right now, and off we go. And we're going to see this. They're going to try and stop a brain drain essentially happening, right? It's too late.
Well, they're going to have, again, the public sector is just too big.
Yeah.
It's too big. Exactly right. So they're going to start cutting back on public sector workers for government. They're going to just start hacking them one by one because they're looking at, you know what they're looking at? Like 70,000 people by the end of 2022 will be removed from Canadian government positions because the federal government used these numbers to get themselves voted in.
Right. Think about I don't know if you have the Liquor Control Board in BC. I think you do. You have something similar, right? Mm-hmm. The one in Ontario is the second largest buyer of private spirits in the world, and they're about that's how large and eccentric they are. Now imagine that's gonna be something that's gonna have to go. 90% of the world, you buy your spirits and alcohol at the liquor store, and that's the end of it, right? We still have this out here in Canada. It's like there's no way we can afford to pay for nonsense like that, mm-hmm. right? Let alone pensions for EMS workers or firefighters. Firefighters have a huge pension problems. Because they have health problems, right?
Jacob. Yes. Next week on Mike in the Night, we need to talk. I need you to take a note down when you get off the phone. I need to talk about the citizens on patrol that they're doing in Ontario, that when you dial 911, it's actually going to go towards citizens, not the police.
Right. How do you know about that?
Huh?
How do you know about that?
I know things. Can you check on the citizens on... Huh?
I already know about it. It's supposed to be confidential.
Well, if you could check out Citizens on Patrol for me and find out what you know about it on next week's show, I want to talk about that because that's kind of important because they're going to be...
Yeah, we're talking money here, right? I apologize.
No. I want you to take a note for next week so I don't forget to tell you. That's all.
Oh, I'll take a note, of course.
Yeah, but we need to get this straightened out and find out what's going on because they're going to start hacking. The government created too many jobs, and now they're just going to start and now more and more nurses are getting laid off. And then I had a radiologist, all the cancer treatment worker people.
That's right.
A lot of them got laid off.
That's right, because I'll tell you from having a healthcare background, cancer rates had dropped in the late 90s, early 2000s to such a point where they had designed this gigantic multinational cancer society that collects hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And they're like, well, it went from a survival rate of 15% to 80%, right? Just in 5-6 years due to advances in medicine that we have now, right? And they still collect their $100 billion a year in charities.
I love
right?
that. It's nice.
Yeah, think about it, right? So, and all these chemotherapy clinics they built, they're empty because people aren't dying of cancer like they did before. Mm-hmm. Because we have better diagnostic technology now. The doctor can see things further ahead than they used to.
Just basic blood work could tell you that.
Exactly. And they can take an MRI on you and it's just an MRI machine is actually a miracle device like Star Trek style, but people is not aware of it, right? So it really affected because we spend huge amounts on healthcare in Canada.
That's actually cutting back.
I bet they have to. We can't afford it. And where are you going to get more tax? We literally tax the air with a carbon tax.
Are you ready for this?
Hey, taxed in Canada.
Are you ready for this?
You're freaking me out.
Are you ready for this one? You think I know secrets? 98 rural hospitals set to close by the end of 2021 across Canada.
98. Imagine an operating budget of a hospital. It's usually in the $70 to $110 million range per hospital per year. And that's like your medium-sized hospital. We're not talking like St. Mike's or something or whatever. That's like we're talking that's in the $3 billion range ish. That's only a tiny chip at the problems that we're facing. You know what I mean? Even if they close 1,000 hospitals down, it still wouldn't be enough.
Well, there's 98 rural hospitals across Canada scheduled to shut down. Yeah.
Rural, of course. Because they don't want us living in the countryside. Despite
That's correct.
That being the whole reason why Canada's Canada. Because our countryside is the absolute most beautiful thing ever.
Hold on. And not only that, is they raise the shipping rates in small towns like mine. So if I move to a small town and want to start shipping and do my online business, I can't because shipping is 4 times the amount than living in the city.
What if you buy a P.O. box in town? Is that doable?
I don't know.
You're far. You're far, right?
No, my store does well anyway. I'm not too worried. So I got my futures planned out. My business is doing well.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. I'm doing well because I'm looking out for myself. I don't go out and work for somebody so I can keep my family fed. I do what I have to do for myself and my family to keep us fed, right?
Well, that's what I respect about you, Mike, is that you're being a very independent businessman, which is rare in our generation, to be fully, truly independent. It's not like it's not a lot of work. Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
Being an entrepreneur and a businessman such as yourself, you probably work 80 plus hours a week. The time. You're working right now. I consider what
I'm
you're
working
doing
right now I do this for you guys and I come on, keep in touch with you guys. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've already gotten to a point where I spend 30, 40 hours a week with my family.
Oh, that was my point. You don't want to miss because family's everything. Right?
Yeah, because you know what? I'm at the store from 11 to 5, 5 days a week. And then Sunday and Monday I'm closed and I ain't working. I'm at night. I'm packing stuff that I sell online. But that's it, and I'm with my family. Tomorrow night's really board game night. Huh? Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I'm always with my kids and my wife. Always.
Because we take that for granted, a lot of us, and it's not easy after many years. Most of us there are probably single. That's what I think. Everyone I encounter out here, but I find that there was a cultural leveling that took place when I was gone. That came back and rediscovered here.
Mm-hmm.
See, for example, I know you're from the Brampton area, are you not?
I lived in Toronto most of my life, but then my parents moved to Brampton, and when they moved to Brampton, I just left the country.
Right. When I went to Brampton as a child, it was a barn with a hockey arena next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you go there now, and it's miles and miles of
cookie cutter homes.
Plywood houses.
Cookie cutter.
By the way, in Canada here, we make our houses out of plywood.
Plywood.
You can imagine that. Everywhere else in the world, they just look at me sideways because they make their houses out of reinforced concrete.
I'm going to actually have an update on my house in the Philippines. We're getting some more work done to it. So I have an update.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're getting more work done to the house. The house is almost done. We just got to put windows and doors in. Everything else is done. We got the sink, the sewer system. Is set. We're set to the sewer system. The electrical's been brought in. We ordered 8 solar panels. That should be enough because it's sunny 365 days a year in the Philippines. And we're gonna try and stay in our budget of $6,000 US.
They have a monsoon season there that's 6 months, and it rains every day for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah, but that's okay. I could live with that. It's better than
once in Manila, I saw a full-size oak tree flying through the sky like a cartoon. It was from a typhoon.
You're so lucky, dude.
Full-size oak tree. It went through a house in a public building and wrecked it. I couldn't believe it.
I remember when I was in Florida and there was a huge hurricane. I'm walking down the street in the hurricane, and this coconut just whiffs by my head, just like. I'm like,
that's why Florida's flat. Because their hurricanes will erase whatever's there. I think the biggest hill is 9 feet in Florida. Biggest hill.
9 feet. Yeah. All right.
Bigger. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Jake, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go ahead and look for the top 20 U.S. housing markets here. And I'm going to have you on Mike in the Night. I want to go over the citizens on patrol that they're actually going to start removing the government can't afford police anymore. So they're kind of figuring something out. And
Right. Okay, I'll put something together for you.
Yeah,
and
okay.
your people.
Please. And we'll talk soon, okay? God bless.
God bless. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That is our man Jacob on the show here, and appreciate somebody's messaging me here. My buddy is over in India saying he wants to start up a business with dry fruits and foods. Fruits will really appreciate your help with this. So buddy's looking at shipping out dry fruits, probably in those Mylar bags, and for hurricanes and bad weather, and your food stays, sounds like a good idea. Okay, so we got a lot of people in the comments here going crazy. And, yeah, we're in crazy mode right now. And let's look at searching for a home. These are the top U.S. housing markets right now. This is California at its best. People are moving to places that don't even, you've never heard of. So let's see if we know any of these places. Okay, Manchester, Nashua, metro area, New Hampshire. I've been to New Hampshire. Average days on the market, 19. Median price, $420,000 in New Hampshire. Concord, New Hampshire, number 2. Days on the market, 20. Median house price, $362,000. Vallejo, Fairfield, California. Viewers per property, 183. Days on the market, 11. Median home price, $550,000. Burlington, North Carolina. You thought I was going to say Burlington, Ontario, eh? 302,000. Days on the market, 21. Springfield, Ohio. Viewers per property, 3. Days on the market, 26. Median house price, $145,000. That doesn't even buy you like 2 square feet of garage space in Toronto. Lafayette, West Lafayette, Indiana. Days on the market, 26. Median home price, $297,000. Yuba City, California. Viewers per property, 2. Days on the market, 27. Median house price, $427,000. Santa Cruz, Watsonville, California. Days on the market, 20. Median house price, $1.2 million. California. Stockton, Lodi, California. Days on the market, 17. Median home price, $468,000. Spokane Valley, Washington. Days on the market, 19. Median house price, $435,000. Large. Janesville, Beloit, Wisconsin. Days on the market, 30. Median house price, $250,000. Large. Modesto, California. Days on the market, 19. Median home price, $499,000. Reno, Nevada. Viewers per property, 1.39. Days on the market, 15. Median house price, $562,000. Wow, in Reno, Nevada. Wow. Worcester, Massachusetts. Connecticut area, metro area. Days on the market, 30. Median home price, $395,000. Appleton, Wisconsin. Median house price, $302,000. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. $799,000 in Idaho. Holy crap. That's American. That's like $1 million Canadian in Idaho. Did I get this? Did I say it right? Yeah, Idaho. Whoa. Madison, Wisconsin. Days on the market, 28. Median house price, $399,000. Eureka, Arcata, Fortuna, California. 31 days on the market, $439,000. Columbus, Ohio. Days on the market, 29. $329,000. Large. Then we got Akron, Ohio. 31 days on the market. Median house price, $180,000. That's in Akron, Ohio. So Ohio, I wonder how much a house in Cincinnati costs. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Flush with cash, affluent Americans are chasing $1 million listings. So there it is. Wealthy Americans took advantage of cheap mortgage, increasing savings and ability to work from home. During the pandemic, their demand for bigger homes and million-dollar listings outpaced sales homes across all other price ranges. The number of homes sold for more than $1 million rose 81% in 17,216 in February from 9,635 a year earlier. At the same time, the number of homes sold for under $100,000 fell 26%. So people are jumping into cheaper homes. Why? Because a lot of people in Canada would like to have something like this, especially people that don't make much. But people jumping into homes under $100,000 fell 26% because mortgage rates are cheap. Amerifornia, here we come. So more rooms, pricier homes, and that's what's happening right now during this massive ball juice variant pandemic. We're talking about ball juice variant. All right. March U.S. housing stats starts surge 19.4% on month. Census Bureau. Demand roars back in February's deep freeze retreat. Housing starts jumps 37% on year-over-year. Active fell with pandemic shutdowns. So it looks like America's going to go stronger. We'll keep an eye on what's happening with the barn market. Demand for more space driving housing frenzy in Sydney's southwest. Again, Australia's southwest is actually on fire right now. If early investing is anything to go by, Daniel Salvatore won't have any problem selling her family home at auction next weekend. So homes are going up in those specific areas. Demand for property in greater Liverpool area is surging. So that's that right there. This guy talking to her. All right, here it is right here. Unit prices fall in many cities, suburbs amid house-led real estate boom. So everyone's going after homes, and unit prices are falling, condos. And despite house prices rising at their fastest pace in 32 years, apartments in Australia's most oversupplied cities are getting as much not getting as much love from buyers. Again, there's an oversupply, there's an overglut, and a lot of these condos are built terribly. They're gonna fall apart. They won't live the life of the mortgage. A lot of these places will fall apart before you pay off your mortgage. Vacant CBD offices could be used for housing in New South Wales. So in Australia, in the CBD, they're gonna start converting empty office space into condos and places to live in while more and more people become homeless. You're gonna have a surge in homelessness when they convert these offices into housing, because they'll never make affordable housing ever. There's no profit in it, and it's all about money nowadays, right? That's all people care about is money. Nobody has a soul, a conscience. Well, people do, but people ignore it. New Zealand homes selling quickly amid housing crisis. There it is there. It's like houses on the market less than 20 days. That's crazy. Will New Zealand's plan to address housing affordability make any difference? It's not. I'm not even going to read this because they've tried Kiwi Build. They've tried a million different things. They even banned foreign investing. They've done everything. Gold. Gold could drop sharply without an inflation assist. So there it is. So let's go over here. This is from our friends over at Kitco. And they're saying here, we're less than 40% into this time period, but the pattern is pretty compelling, and actually gold is performing worse with lower and lower highs, he said. So gold right now is it's obviously the most manipulated precious metal on the market, and then silver, of course, too, is heavily manipulated. Housing boom, central banks and inflation worries. And what else do we have here? New Mexico preparing for a vaccine hesitancy. Idaho Senate okays bill to kill up to 90% of wolves in the state. All right, let's move on here. And Australian markets are still open. The all ords, everything's open. Let's look at oil. Oil's right now open in the overseas markets right now. It's sitting at 61.17. I said by 2021 summer, we'll see a $65 barrel of oil. I don't know. I'm invested in oil, so we'll see what happens. Gold is up 60 cents, sitting at $17.93. Bitcoin is sitting at 68,000 Australian dollars. Where was that? The FTSE over in the UK in London is 6,895, up 35 points. The Dow Jones closed at 34,137. Wow. And the Hang Seng there over in Hong Kong dropped 513 points, and that is sitting at 28,621. The Nikkei 225 over in Japan is at 28,871.32. And what else is happening? Oh, there's Scotty Morrison. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Too bad I just couldn't speak freely anymore. You know, speaking freely is a very bad thing nowadays, and it gets you in trouble. New Zealand banned immigration for 10 years. Prices would drop. The message will automatically delete with the ban and immigration on it. Lord Humongous, let's get Lord Humongous on saying a lot of cities are falling apart in Amerifornia. Let's get him on the thing here. Boom, beam, boom. Beam, beam, beam. All right, he ain't picking up his phone. Lord Humongous is not picking up the phone. So we got, who else we got here? Oh, let's get markets here on the phone. Guys, I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking to buy back in on this. I'm looking to buy back into this stock, Sundial. I don't know. Somebody's Skype is screwed up out there. I don't know whose it is. But okay, there's Lord Humongous. Yo, Lord Humongous, how are you, my brother?
Mike.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm looking at Sundial, SNDL. It's down. It's at 86 cents. I sold it almost at $2 way back when. Huh?
Nice.
I might get back into it tomorrow morning.
Is that the weed stock?
Yep, the wheat stock, Sundial. It went up to 2 something. When was it? Like 2 months ago? Yeah, it was up. It was up pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah. I would stay away from all the marijuana stocks right now. Personally, I think
There
people are going to be
February.
more.
I sold early. I sold it at 210. It went up to 295. I remember that. But anyways,
Nice. Nothing wrong with taking profits, bro.
Nope. Hey, listen. I sent your back coin out, and I sent you the book.
Nice.
It's inside the book.
I look forward to reading it.
Yes, and also, so you were saying in the comments that Amerifornia is falling apart. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about as far as all this bubble pumping in real estate has really affected everything around the entire globe, and it's what the central printers of money have created through inflation and QE.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the only place that inflation comes from. And when you have a central bank that issues your currency domestically, and that's what you're supposed to use, they find other avenues to pump that inflation into, in which housing is a main one because it's not even reported on the CPI, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they hide that inflation. That's why you don't see food on the CPI index. You don't see any of that stuff. It's all part of their rigged game, man. It's all part of blowing these bubbles, these artificial bubbles. Just like JP Morgan does it with silver on the silver market.
Oh, they've been spoofing markets, and they've been doing short sells and all kinds of Mickey Mousing.
Yeah, but Mike, JP Morgan holds the majority of the silver in the COMEX. The COMEX price is bogus, man, and everybody's seeing that for what it is now.
Well, what are we going to do about the shortage? A lot of silver orders are not being filled. There's a lot of people with silver. I had a gentleman from Utah message me saying he's got about 2,300 ounces in silver certificates, and he's trying to get his physical silver filled.
Silver certificates and what?
He bought silver certificates from, I think, J.P. Morgan, or one of the big banks that offers silver. You know, when you buy silver, they give you a certificate in silver saying you don't have to keep it. Yeah.
They haven't done that for a long time. Not here in America. I don't know where else they would do that. That's why they got everybody onto the SLV.
Right.
You know,
right.
They want to get them in the ETFs. and the ETFs are nothing but just garbage, and they trade paper all day, and that's what they base the COMEX price off of. So if you don't hold your physical metals, dude, it's like you don't own any of that. There's like a thousand other contracts and 1,000 other people. If they were to take delivery on that metal, they couldn't fulfill it. And there's already a shortage right now because of what's been going on with the market manipulation. So,
Interesting.
Do you understand?
I understand. I know what you mean, Jelly Bean.
All that stuff, it also correlates into the whole housing and mortgage market and interest rates and the bonds and the yields and all that stuff. I mean, this game has been going on way too long. That's why you don't have affordable housing. That's why these crooks, these criminals, these bank printers, these credit people, expansion people, it's all the same rigged game, man. And that's all they do. And people buy the propaganda because they've segmented, fractionalize the whole entire deal, man. Every sector is different, but yet it all comes back down to the same thing. It's all manipulation and lies, dude. That's the part that people need to wake up to.
It's getting really tough. I don't know if you know, if you watch, I think you saw my morning coffee with Mike because you commented twice on there. But did you see what eBay is now doing? What I said that eBay is doing now with the Canadian federal government? Canadian federal government and eBay are actually working hand in hand because the Canadian government was going to ban Canadians for selling on eBay if eBay didn't give up our sales and our sales information to the federal government. You know that?
Yeah, I heard something along the
We're
lines
the
of
only
that.
country in the world that does that.
It's like because eBay was a private market, man. That's what it came out as in the internet.
That's what it is. It should be a private. If I want to sell a used set of golf clubs and I don't want to declare it to the federal government, that's not, that shouldn't be their business. You know what I'm saying? But now, yeah.
That's part of the trap, Mike. That's part of the trap. You just nailed it right there. That's why, because all that, it's e-commerce. It came out in like 95. And the governments, it doesn't matter what country you're in, they will take anything they can and regulate it to hell, just like every other market, until nobody can afford anything. And that's part of this everything bubble that's melting up. Because, it's like.
And
yeah,
YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
Did I show you that email I got? And everyone says, oh, those are people living in other countries. No, in Canada, federal government, I read the email. By law, federal government, I have to give my GST, all my tax information to YouTube. So when I get my $100 from YouTube every month for making my videos, the federal government gets to take almost half of it in Canada.
Of course, that's part of their whole taxing scheme. It's all integrated with the central banks. Why do you think the IRS was created? It was a tax arm, for all the funny money they're printing.
The problem is they're taxing us so much so they can keep the public service workers, like the government workers, employed. But they're taking it from us.
Yeah. Well, how are people going to pay a tax when they tax everybody into oblivion? It's we don't have printers out here. We can't just print up $100 million trillion and give it to our monopoly friends. That's the disconnect here, Mike. It's sound money versus fake money, artificial money. And that ties on to the whole crypto scam too. People, they don't understand the kind of damage they're doing with the technology that they're pumping out right now.
Dude. Now they're saying that we had $41 billion come into Canada in the year of 2020. That's why our housing was going up $10,000, $20,000 a month during COVID. Right. A month in price. And the 1 month last month went up $43,000 for a detached home in the city of Toronto. We don't have that many cities in Canada. We're losing them all to wealthy investors. Now they're looking at actually taxing the equity on our homes.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
So if my house made me some money and I want to retire, I can't because I got to pay tax on that every year.
And that's part of the bankers' Ponzi scheme. That's how they control all the markets, Mike. It's all through the central printing of money. You can't print worthless money. I mean, it's been worthless since day one. There's no value. The whole Federal Reserve System is a scam and it's a lie, and everything attached to it is, and that includes housing and real estate. They've broken every flipping rule in the book, and these big bankers are the ones that steal trillions upon trillions of so-called wealth from every single human on this planet. And it's controlled by a 0.5% of criminals. you know, and they just get little slaps on the wrist for, manipulating silver, like JP Morgan, $900 million fine. Yet we got homeless people living all over America in tents because of what they've done to the economy on purpose.
Uh,
There's
I made a
this
mistake.
whole,
I was on a live show a few weeks ago, and I made a mistake. I said that L.A. County had 41,000 homeless people. I was actually wrong. It was actually
way
62,000.
higher. It's way higher than that.
It's
Man.
62,000 in L.A. County. This is not Alameda County. This is not Orange
Higher.
County. This is just L.A. County.
Yeah, it's higher than that.
It's
So
62,000.
whatever number they give you, even 68,000, you can like triple that. That's the real number. They can't count everybody. They can't count everybody that they've kicked out of this stupid real estate scam. Raising rents for the last decade on people that were barely struggling to get by.
And they fought wars for us.
They don't care, Mike. Exactly. That's my whole point. You think the government and there's people inside the government. Yes, they do care, and they're decent people.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that dark, evil banking cabal that operates within all the central banks, and they are the ones that are ripping off everybody. So it's like I don't listen to any of these experts that are billionaires, because you know what? The majority of those criminals are in on the game.
Mm-hmm.
They've lied and they've cheated people out of this whole credit scoring system that we've had in America by the big three, like TransUnion and all these credit agencies. That's all criminal crap too.
So
There's no way to judge.
We got the American Post posting that it was last week's article. I was taking a look at that. In some American cities, they need to see a correction of anywhere from 50 to 70% in some blue states for the upper average wage earner making 60,000 or more a year to get into the housing market.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you make 60 large in America and you live in a blue state, you're poor.
Mike, they've made it unattainable for 98% of the people on the planet to own a home. And then what do they do? What do they do now? They raise like the banks loaning out and all that stuff with interest rates. So they raise everybody's down payment to make it even more impossible to get in. I mean, what are these kids supposed to do that are millennials? Everybody likes to blame them, but it's not really their fault.
No, they're blaming the boomers. The millennials are blaming the boomers.
Yeah, but the boomers are part of it, but they're not. They're even in the dark too, because they grew up in a different time period, and that's what's shifting with all of this stuff. It's like, and we're going into a commodity super cycle, for Christ's sakes, with all this other stuff happening, and now they're trying to cut off food supplies, and Bill Gates buying up farmland. What the hell does that guy need farmland for? I thought he was a computer nerd.
Well, he needs a place to hang his sweaters to dry.
Dude, that guy's hand is so far up Satan's butthole. Okay, that guy is involved with all kinds of criminal crap. He's a world criminal, and he deserves to be hung by the neck until he's dead. and that goes for a lot of his other friends that are connected to him. Mm-hmm. They've literally these types of people have destroyed America. They've destroyed the working engine, which was the middle class. I don't even believe in the whole class thing. It's another thing. The lower middle. We used to all just be Americans. It wasn't just the rich versus the poor. I don't care if a guy's rich if he did it honestly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like guys that really built their business from the ground up and put in the hard work and took all the risk. But it's not like that for the criminals at the top that print money from the Federal Reserve out of nothing. Zero. It has zero meaning and zero value. And they want to track everybody. They've been tracking Americans since day one. Look at your birth certificate. You're traded on the damn stock exchange, for Christ's sake, like you're a piece of livestock. Mm-hmm. Where's the freedom at in this country, Mike? Where is it?
It's in Dogecoin.
Where's any of the freedom in Canada? Where is it? It's nowhere.
All right, since you're the crypto expert, here goes. From Bitcoin to Dogecoin, experts warn of crypto bubble burst. When it comes to money, who do you believe? Celebrity memes or experts who crunch the numbers all day and how money works? This is a huge influence of social media and the stock market, and cryptocurrency hype only spells a crypto bubble which will burst once the frenzy cools.
Yeah, it's all a bubble. I mean, what the heck is the difference? I would like somebody that's such a Bitcoin expert out there to tell me what the difference is between a Dogecoin or a Bitcoin, and why is a Bitcoin, right, so much more valuable? What does it do that is so super that this crypto does in the real world, not in the artificial computing world?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me
You need to have a debate with Metal Gear Mark III on the show, and then I'll give you guys 1 minute each. You can't speak over each other.
I'm not going to debate that guy. He's a clown, okay?
Metal
Seriously.
Gear Mark III?
Yeah, he's a total clown. He thinks everything's Bitcoin. He thinks he's going to go down to the gas station and fill his tank with Bitcoin, not gasoline. That's got to get pumped out of the ground like real money in mining, in silver, in gold, precious metals. You know, like seriously, I'm telling you, this technology is garbage, man. And Tesla is going to fail. How are you going to build the infrastructure for all these crazy electrical vehicles? Seriously, we've already got gas stations everywhere in this country, right? Does he think that oil is going to magically go away someday, and that it's not going to be needed?
Electric cars that are going to be, or the electric cars that are going to mysteriously build without oil plastics?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Look at all the precious metals that go. Let's just take a Rolls Royce for instance. Okay, you have the Rolls Royce Phantom. Okay, the base price on that is $463,000. Do you know how much silver is used in all Rolls Royce products?
30 ounces.
No, it's a lot more than that. Now, if you want to talk about these EV technologies and batteries and electric everything, I mean, you're talking about nickel through the roof. You're talking about copper through the roof, and you're seeing that start to happen now. They're trying to do that with the base metals because they suppress silver because it is the real dollar. And it's the real thing that everybody should be storing right now. It's the only sound currency that's going to survive. And it's the only thing that's really money. You know, it will be barterable when they collapse this entire phony system. I mean, to me, the whole thing's fake. And when it blows up, all these people that think they're millionaires on paper are going to be sadly mistaken. I'm just trying to warn people. And it's not doom and gloom, Mike. It's just the reality of things. You know, it's like trying to, build a building with cryptocurrency. What the heck are you going to build it out of? You got to have material,
Physical.
Look at lumber prices. Why are those inflating, more than gold? You got to correlate everything together. That's what people miss. They think it's just I can do this in one sector and make it. No, it's all interconnected. Like I've been saying for I don't know how many years now. And all the data is skewed, man. It's skewed by these criminals. You can't trust those CPI numbers. You can't trust any of the data.
Well, in your country, hold on. In your country, they said they gained 700,000 jobs, and then on the flip side, they have other articles saying we lost 700,000 jobs. What is it?
Yeah. When we were locked down for that COVID thing,
we're talking about last month with the numbers and stuff. They're like, "Oh, America's a huge rebound, and we're getting the economy back on." And
no, let's just start from the 2020 period, okay? We were losing 1 million jobs every month for 12 months. So how many people is that? Is that 12 million?
Yeah.
I mean, and then in 20, it's not getting better with the whole COVID and the shutdown of the small businesses, which they've killed.
Well, the only lockdown states are the blue states are shut down. New York, those states are shut down, but Texas is open, Florida's open. Is your state open?
Yeah, my state's sort of open. We got politicians here that are still playing these lies, and it's getting old. But that's the whole thing is that's how they sell everybody's on the fear. It's the fear of, oh my God, the COVID, it's real. And when it's totally like something else, man. A lot of these people that are dying have already had underlying conditions.
When they're over 85.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all everything's COVID, right? Oh, the guy got hit by a Mack truck. Oh, COVID. We got to write that down.
Oh, this guy fell out of a window. COVID.
Yeah, we got to pay Bill Gates his cutback on this whole scam, right through the hospital industry. And
they're shutting down in America now. In your country, they're shutting down more rural hospitals. They're actually looking to shut down another 350. Going bankrupt.
Yeah, They've been doing that for a long time, Mike, shutting down the rural hospitals.
Okay.
It's because a lot of them are private, and then they end up going bankrupt
Right.
because of they just can't handle it. What I'm trying to tell everybody is it goes back. All this stuff is happening is because we America, and we are to fault for this, has been off of a gold standard since 1971,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been exporting nothing but debt and credit.
Inflation.
And that's inflation, exactly. That's the main culprit. I mean, the people don't know what inflation is. They don't
Well,
even.
the major export, American major export, is inflation. They've been depending too heavily on the petrodollar. The petrodollar fell apart a few years ago, and now these countries are signing different oil baskets. They're getting into different deals, like the BRICS, the China, Russia, Iran deal. There's the North Korea and China and Iran.
What about the Canada deal? Do you agree with any deal that comes out of Trudeau's office with
Oh,
another
that guy
country?
doesn't even know if he's tricking or treating. I don't even listen to that
Well,
guy,
I'm
man.
saying, Mike, every government you have these politician crooks, and they are in Congress. Our Congress in America is worthless, and they're filled with criminals to the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the whole banking cabal that ties into it, with the private banks, and then all the internationalists that are involved with it, the international central banks. It's all one big web, man. It's just like the internet is, trading derivatives. How the hell? Explain this one to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell is more than 1 billion ounces of silver traded in one day?
I
On
don't
the
think we
East
have
Coast?
that much silver above ground.
Yeah, we don't. And
We
the
don't.
thing is that only we mine annually as a whole world, all the mines and everything, about 850 million ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet on the COMEX and the derivatives trading on the futures market, they can trade 1 billion ounces in one day. So what does that tell you?
Well, obviously it's fake, right? Because we don't have that much silver above ground again.
Exactly. It's fake and it's manipulated and it's a totally fake criminal market. That's what it should tell everybody on the entire planet. That's why, that's why they suppress silver so much. Did you know that silver is even more suppressed than gold? Because
Oh, it
you
has
want
to
to know.
be. Silver should be at $350 an ounce. Like realistically, in the time we're in right now, silver should be $400.
Mike, it should be way higher than that.
No, I'm being conservative here. Okay,
Right.
I'm
I
being
understand.
conservative. $400 for a silver stacker. He's laughing right now.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hilarious. But all this is doing is creating more poverty in the world
Mm-hmm.
because of the greed factor and these banks that they get money and this energy to loan out for free, basically, forever. And it kills everything. It kills all economies. It kills all business.
It's getting pretty tough out there. I know. I see that. And then with government job cuts heading towards Canada, are you guys going to start seeing some more defunding of police and more government job cuts in America?
I don't know, Mike. I mean, I think either we're all going to be government employees at some time because they're going to have to put people on this universal basic income.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest problems is that even as productive as North America was at one time, the jobs just for a lot of people are not there. I mean, and I really feel sorry for all these kids that they go to college and they get in debt and they pay all this dang money for what? For nothing, just to get screwed over again because their company decided to pick up and move to another country, or they took their job and shipped it overseas somewhere because whoever ran the dirty ass CEO that ran that company decided he wanted to make a few more points on his bonus on his Christmas bonus for the year. That's what I'm talking about here. I mean, that's the difference. That's the wealth gap. It's like they've totally taken it and broken it. If you want to call it middle class, whatever. It's
Mitch Madden saying silver will outpace most things in the next 10 years.
I see it happening much sooner than that. I don't think they're going to be able to hold this market together. I see the whole COMEX complex cracking apart right now as we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
They got the big bankers back up in front of Congress, even though Congress is probably in their back pocket. They are.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is that they're getting publicized now, and it's coming to light. The lie, this whole silver suppression has been going on for 170 something plus years. It's not just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole lie, man. That gives them the power to print money to infinity and blow up every other market in the process, because we're all connected to that so-called USD, And I don't even care if it's the reserve currency anymore. I could care less, I really could. We don't deserve to have a reserve currency because it's a whole criminal operation that was started back in Jekyll Island in 1913.
That's right.
We shouldn't have an income tax, Mike.
Well,
they've been robbing.
I think it's illegal to tax someone on their labor. I think that shouldn't. I understand paying taxes to keep, employees employed through the government and stuff. But then now just hiring employees to hire employees so the job count looks good. That's terrible.
I agree 100%, Mike. But the whole reason why they brought the income tax in was, and the only thing you were supposed to be taxed on was capital gains. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Profit. If you made profit in the stock market, or if you made profit here or there, you got taxed on that money, not taxed to go work your ass off for some corporation and then have them steal 40 or 50% of your paycheck every week. That's what we're talking about here. That's the kind of money games that they've been playing on the dumbfounded in this country for a very long time. And it's sad. It's sad that the greed out there is so just disgusting, man. It just really is. And that's what's actually killing everything,
Mm-hmm.
Is that we don't have a sound money system anywhere on the planet.
Well, if you do create a sound money system somewhere on the planet, your country will receive freedom. Look what Gaddafi. He tried to create a gold-backed dinar currency in Africa,
Right.
Gold currency, a currency backed by gold, in Africa, and they brought him freedom right away.
Yeah. How do you like that freedom? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the freedom from the government printers, the bankers that don't want, don't want anybody else to have the power to print their own currency.
If Gaddafi was allowed to create this gold-backed currency in Africa, this would have rocked the West, completely rocked it.
Oh yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and suffer the consequences of not letting other countries do what they want to do in their own countries,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the price that the West is paying right now. That's why we have a depression coming on us, like nobody's business tomorrow. And people think that these housing prices are going to remain elevated like this. Right now, you're seeing the melt up, Mike. This is what's called the crack up boom phase. In Austrian economics. This is why you have people in Canada paying $400,000 over asking price.
Oh, that's generous. That's generous. There was one the other day I sold for $2.2 million over asking.
Yeah, for what, a two-bedroom teardown that's been built in the 1930s.
Yeah, well, that's being generous too. Usually after World War I.
Right. But you see where I'm going with this, right? I mean, it's the way people view everything. This funny money economy is a joke, man, and it's getting worse day by day. That's why Vegas is going out of business.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even get gamblers in there anymore. They got to try to sell them sand as entertainment.
And a lot of casinos are getting fined for harnessing solar power.
Yeah, I'm sure
they're getting fined. So if you collect solar power to help generate your casino, you're getting fined.
Right. Well, yeah. What kind of deal is that? So you.
So what about what happened to going green and global warming?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. That as long as the government or the state government is making money on some kind of bullshit law
Mm-hmm.
that they want to conjure up out of thin air, like the funny money they're all chasing, it's just good. It's like the perfect road to self-destruction. I just watch it in every sector, man. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to go down, bro. And when this goes down, it's going to take that down.
It's going down for real.
That whole Archegos fund that blew up with Huang Chung.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Bill Huang. Yeah, that had something directly that happened with the Perth Mint and the silver allocation that John Adams down there has been following.
Mm-hmm.
That sent off a chain reaction to Credit Suisse. And now all these other banks are losing billions every day, and they're trying to cover that up. They're not telling anybody. But that was like a direct shot that just I mean, the crash is somewhere, man, and it's right now. That nuclear bomb is rolling around inside every credit cycle and every bank institution, man. It's going throughout the whole system of this fiat garbage,
Yep.
and it's gonna blow up at some point. It's like a hot potato, man. You don't want your country to have it in your hands when it goes off. It's crazy. I mean, the mathematics behind it are,
Food is next. Food is going to be next.
yeah, the food. That why is that not in the CPI, Mike?
Yeah.
Why is that not calculated? It's any commodity. It's any commodity that they, that's not in the CPI. That's where they pump the bubbles at, man. That's where they pump all this inflation at. The rising housing prices, the food inflation, the energy, the gas tax, right? Yeah, people got to wise up, man. I tell people, hey, start growing your gardens, get your seeds together, and hold on, man, because we're about to hit the wall on this thing, and something's brewing big time. I feel it in my gut, man. Just like when Raven, during the COVID, right before the COVID, the whole food issue and electricity on that New Year's show that we did. It's just amazing, man. But it's got to stop, man. When does the criminality stop? When do these criminals?
Well, who's going to take accountability? That's the problem. No one takes accountability anymore. What's that American actor that goes, "Hi, my name is," I forgot his name, and he says, "I have diabetes." Remember that guy?
Oh, is that the guy from that big guy that played on Mike and Molly?
Yeah, that guy. And that guy was talking about accountability. No one takes accountability anymore. No one's taking, everybody is walking away from no one no one's getting in trouble anymore and blah blah blah. And he was right.
Yeah, he is right. But that's part of the convenience, Mike. That's the convenience of a modern society. We built these fast food joints and these conveniences, and everything's automated. And now people are going to complain when the automation takes their job from them.
You know what? We should get a Discord group going on this channel for real. We got Metal Gear Mark III, and we should get the Raven and you, maybe like 4 guys on the channel to moderate and have Discord on their phone and just have a discussion piece where we could post articles. We could talk about certain things. I could bring up the Discord on the show. I could promote it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's an excellent idea.
I think we should do that. I honestly think Metal Gear Mark III says you could post stuff about crypto, the Raven, maybe somebody else in Australia, maybe Layla. We could have a bunch of moderators that we know, and then people just be part of the group and then and then just talk freely.
Yeah.
And I'll promote it on the channel just to make sure that at least somebody is watching it so I don't get in trouble because I'm promoting it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I use Discord for a lot of different channels.
Well, just create a channel then, just for the mic. Just call it the Mike of the Night Talk or Night Talk or Weekend Talk or Weekend Discord Talk or something like that and connect it to the channel. So I'll just pump it up here,
I'm also involved with Wall Street Silver on the Discord too, and I ran across a very cool chick, and she's not really well known. But she kind of knows what's going on. I mean, and she's pretty smart. And yeah, I would like to actually get her on Mike in the Night one of these times.
Please, just let her know. I'm open for everybody, right?
Yeah. I would like to give her like a good hour at least.
That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Lord. Cool. I'm gonna let you go. Start setting things up on the back end. Talk to the guys. Talk to maybe Mike Bank. Just talk to people here on the thing. Everybody organize something on Skype with each other. I know, Layla, it's so easy to find us on Skype, the Raven, everybody. And maybe we should get a Discord so the Raven could post stuff on there. I know, Linny Poo has a lot of good stuff too that she sends me. Good. She sends to me on Instagram. Maybe she should be putting it also on the Discord so everybody in the group on the channel could see. We could get 300 people on there in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I think the Discord's a good thing, I mean, I really do. I've communicated a lot with a lot of people on Discord, which is cool. I don't know how secure it is. I don't know, who's tapping the information or listening in or whatever. I mean, not that I really care. I mean, our sense of privacy in this world is has been decimated. I mean, even our own law enforcement agencies down here, they're trained to violate everybody's rights. They violate all your your rights to privacy.
It's kind of
search and
It's like coming back into Canada and having to deal with a Canadian border agent that's not even Canadian and telling you what to do when you return to Canada and how this and that, and you're hiding things and put you through immigration and you're a Canadian.
I had a cop that pulled me over like last year or whatever. And did you know he was a white guy, but he was from South Africa? And I was like,
so what? A lot of people.
No, but listen to me. I thought it was a really good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that he was from South Africa, because here in America, it's like the cops have been trained. I don't know what the hell is wrong, but a lot of them are just tyrants. I mean, they follow that thin blue line garbage. You know, they become judge, jury, and executioner on the spot in a lot of cases. But my point being is why does America need to actually hire foreigners to police? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's like our Canadian customs in Canada. Nobody's Canadian when you walk into the country. Anyways, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to do one last channel plug, and I'm out of here.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless.
Bye. That is Lord Humongous out of the Denver, Colorado area. And guys, it looks like I declined a call for Craig. I'll get Craig on next week on the show. I want to do first-time callers on Mike in the Night. I'll get a couple of local callers, but I really want to get some. Well, I want to set aside an hour on Mike in the Night for first-time callers. Speaking of Mike in the Night, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 13,000. I think I'm at 13,800 subscribers. Guys, don't forget to set your reminders right now. Set your reminders if you're still watching for Mike in the Night this Saturday with call-ins. Walls closing in. We're going to get a lot of people calling in next week. So if you get a chance to call in, I want to get a lot of first-time callers on next week. And guys, next week's Commonwealth for Common Folks, Commonwealth for Common People. There it is right there. Pay more, get less. That's on next week's show. So you're paying more for a house, but you're getting less square footage. You're getting less square footage on everything. There I am, waxing the vet. Woo! Anyways, guys, don't forget to send me your messages on Instagram. I have a beautiful Facebook page with 114,000 followers, and nobody sees the stuff I ever post. So Facebook is dead. Do not message me on here because your messages could get retracted. Don't forget to shop Mike Martin's, guys. All kinds of really cool stuff here and on the Teespring. Artbydano.com, not your typical art. Dano, I know you're watching. Go ahead and create a little new release section here because I see all this new stuff you're posting, but I don't see it in your store. So put in new releases here so people could go right to new releases. Is there a new release? Did I see one here? No, Legends, movie, Vegas, cool. Yeah, putting new releases right here. Move this over, new releases right here, because I want to show your new stuff that you get coming out. Artbydano.com, not your typical art. Music by Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to donate for 24/7 hour radio from Ralphie.co.New Zealand. The best. Donate with PayPal. I'm going to actually donate to this thing. I keep saying this, but I'm going to do it. I just freaking busy, but I'm going to do it right now when I get off the phone with you guys. And I wanted to throw this out there, guys. It is not Mike in the Night. It is Commonwealth for Common People tonight. I forgot to take off the Mike in the Night background, guys. I'm really, 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 really sorry about that. Let's put on some Commonwealth for Common People. I want to thank everybody in the comments for being here tonight. I want to thank Tig Nim. I want to thank Papa Pissed. I want to thank Ricky Ricardo, Mitch Madden, Layla, Kiwi Fella, Mike Banks, Big Rob New Zealand, Spare Dime, One Neo, Grindhouse Cartoons, that's Art by Dano, Mitch Madden, again I said that, sorry, Brother Leaf, in the house, Margie O, in the house, Metal Gear Mark III, Order Divine Warrior, The Raven, V-Man 293, Jay Pastor in the house. Tignim. Thank you for watching, everyone. Everybody out there, please take care. And if you can't take care, please stay safe. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.